Brandon, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We have The Unholy Trinity, June 13th, correct?
Yes, sir.
How excited I was at the movie theaters the other day, a big poster right on there. I was like telling my kids, hey, I'll be speaking to Brandon in a few days.
No, I that is fantastic. What'd you guys go and see?
Oh, the new I can't think of the movie right now. Oh, Lilo and Stitch. I took him to see
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
God,
So how excited?
I need to get and see it.
Yeah, how excited are you? We got the posters, we got the movie coming out soon.
I am beyond thrilled. I first off, I love the poster. Great job to whoever made it. It's really fantastic. Um, no, I'm thrilled. I'm excited. It's always odd when a film that you've technically done a bit ago now. We shot it October, November 2023. So it's been a bit, but it's exciting that it's finally coming out, and I'm finally going to be able to share it with my friends and family and say, yeah, hey, this is what I was doing.
Growing up, did you ever think you're going to be playing like would you call this a Western frontier type of movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved westerns.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do westerns growing up. I'm kind of, living my 10-year-old dream.
Yeah.
Uh, but I've done a couple other westerns. This ain't my first rodeo. But th this is certainly a project that's near and dear to my heart. I first read the scripts for The Unholy Trinity years ago,
Wow.
actually shortly after my very first professional film acting job, Broken Ghost. So I probably read the original script for this maybe 2018.
Wow.
So it's kind of a dream come true to, see it come to life.
How bad did you want it after you read the script?
Oh my God, really badly. It was I was obsessed with this script for the longest time and you know kept trying to make it happen, kept trying to make it happen. I went to college, graduated college in the meantime, got a couple of other films under my belt,
Mm.
and then the film strike, the
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA strike happened, and there was kind of an opportunity there, and we are very grateful to SAG because they gave us a waiver to film this during the strike. And this wouldn't have been possible without SAG. This wouldn't have been possible without the incredibly talented Samuel Jackson,
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, the entire cast, and especially the very talented crew. So it was kind of a perfect storm after all of these years, and I'm very grateful to be caught in the middle of that storm.
Right. Well, what aspects of like Henry's journey resonated with you personally?
Um, this sort of this rejection of passivity, this journey to manhood that
Mm.
Henry kind of goes through. Like again, when I first read this script, I was a teenager.
Mm.
Now uh I'm an adult, graduated college, so I did
Yeah.
it. I'm living in LA now. I'm pursuing my dreams, and you know, Henry had to grow up and chart his course, and despite what others might say, he had to ultimately make those decisions, and that's something I relate to, and I see a lot of Henry in myself, and a lot of myself in Henry, and yeah, I mean, I love the character, love the film.
Mm. Especially when when Henry is like he's asked to avenge his father's killing.
Yeah.
That's a great story, I think. Like, how does the film explore the weight of a responsibility at a young character like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, they definitely, part of it comes from the fact that Henry's given this impossible task. And
Mm.
it's not simply an impossible task, but it's something that's not him. He's not a violent human being. He's not someone that is actively looking to get revenge on somebody. But
Yeah.
you have this person who so much of his identity is built around. It's his father. He
Yeah.
loves him. And when someone you love dearly is telling you to do something that you know is wrong, how do you navigate that? What do you do? Um, so it was certainly an interesting challenge to take on in terms of portraying Henry Broadway.
Mm.
Um, but it is a challenge I'm very grateful that I had.
Mm. How would you describe Henry's transformation by the end of the film? Like his perspectives on the character shift during the filming, like how would you describe that?
I would say that he he breaks the disillusion of his youth. He goes from this timid young boy to a cowboy.
Yeah.
Um, he becomes a frontiersman, and we show that. I mean, it's in a variety of ways. One is just with how he interacts with the characters. He's very passive at the beginning. By the end, he's calling a lot of his own shots, and he
Yeah.
has to release himself without, giving away too much about the story. He has to kind of break free from this hold that has been placed on him. And one of the ways, just physically, that we show that in the film, the very our very talented costume designer, Vicky Ann, she when we were talking about the character, what she did and you'll see this through the film, at the beginning, Henry has a very city look for the time, almost like a newspaper boy.
Yeah.
And kind of throughout the course of the film, he's losing clothes, he's getting new clothes, he gets his cowboy hat, and he saddles up, and he gains a lot of bruises and cuts along the way too. So physically, you'll also see that this is a very different person by the end.
Definitely.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. How about with Richard Gray? Like, what kind of vision did he have for this film, and what kind of direction or like influence like did he give you for like to play this character?
Yeah, well, you know, he had me look at a couple different roles. I mean, I've worked with Richie a couple times now. I've known him
Okay.
for a long time. One of the character inspirations uh, was Casey Affleck's character in the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert
Yeah.
Ford. Love that film, and I love Casey's portrayal of that character. That was definitely an inspiration. Um, but yeah, no, talking with Richie, a lot of Henry Broadway is focused on being pulled between these two, uh, Goliath
Mm,
characters. You have, you have Sheriff Dove, which is Pierce Brosnan's
yeah.
character, and he is this more like upstanding person, and maybe there's not all is as it seems, but Henry is out for revenge, but he comes across this guy that seems to want to help him. And then you have very similar to St. Christopher, Samuel Jackson's character, who wants to help him with his revenge, but he perhaps knows more about Henry than even Henry does.
Mm,
And so there's a lot of it is that Trinity dynamic. It's playing between these two characters, and I don't know who I should be siding with, or who, Henry should
right.
be siding with.
Yeah. Speaking of Pierce and Samuel, any pointers, any advice from those two veterans?
I mean, I certainly learned a lot just by watching them.
Okay. Yeah.
When you act with performers of their caliber,
Yeah.
it's effortless. They are so grounded within their characters that you don't need to put anything on. You don't need to feel like you're performing. You're just there with them.
Mm.
And just by watching them, I realized a lot of it is just looking and listening and just being there with them.
I feel like a little kid on Christmas Day, I would think it would
Oh
feel
yeah.
like working with them
Yeah.
too.
No, it was definitely surreal. I mean, I had watched, I watched these two growing up in
Yeah.
the dozens and dozens of films that they've done. So I was certainly honored to be working with, performers of their caliber.
Mm. How would you describe the tone of the Unholy Trinity? Would you say?
Hmm. I would definitely say, hmm, I would definitely say it's an adventure.
Mm.
It's it it can be quite gritty at times. Not necessarily, I wouldn't call it I would not call it a bloody film, but I would call it a gritty film. Um, because there is a lot of violence. It's the Wild West we're dealing with.
Right.
And a lot of characters with none too pure intentions.
Mm.
Yeah.
S- So, what are you hoping the audience gets out of this when they tune in?
Um, I'm hoping that the audience is first and foremost entertained.
Mm.
Uh, but also I hope that they get the sense that you always have a choice, even in an impossible situation when you feel like you don't.
Yeah.
Um, you're always the captain of your course, and you can decide who you want to be. And I personally felt when I watched the film for the first time, this sense of freedom that by the end, oh God, I don't want to spoil anything. I did, but by the end, that you can free yourself from these things that burden you, that
Mm.
make you feel like you have no choice in life.
Mm. I don't think the fans are gonna be disappointed. I enjoyed it. You know, like you don't get a lot of these Western movies that much anymore. And I thought this was good.
Oh, fantastic.
So, what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about before we end this?
I'm not sure too much about what I am allowed to talk about. I do have a couple projects I'm discussing with people right now. Um, there is a film that I did a couple years ago called The Plantation that I believe is being released soon. I don't know too much of the details about that, but that one's a horror film, so
Uh,
a little different than a Western, but still
right.
fun. Yeah.
It's amazing. So, Brandon, we have Unholy Trinity June 13th. Good luck with the film. Thank you for giving us a few minutes today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, we'll have to get you back on for the future projects.